Today, it's a day 21 of 21 days of my traveling across the 5 countries and 5 continents. That being said, on my 21st day of my traveling, I'm back in my studio. And it's time to share with you what I learned. And I learned one very, very valuable lesson. Lesson you want to know. It's called loneliness. And the question I always ask myself, was I lonely, or I was pretending I was lonely, or I was imagining I'm lonely? But let me share it with you that 21 days of traveling gave me quite a number of valuable lessons. One of them it is that we have a stigmata society put on us. When I planned my trip of these 21 days, I was meticulous in my planning. Everything I took in consideration, every equation, every possible scenario in my head on a paper, and then I start traveling. But one thing I couldn't count it. And that is being lonely. In all this excitement, in a world of imagination, desire, I desire to have, the one thing I couldn't anticipate, and that is how lonely I will be and how this is going to reflect on me. Because sometimes I caught myself talking to myself under the shower, before I go to sleep, chasing the unicorns before my eyes close, and many other things. But the question I do have for you, are you lonely, or are you pretending you are lonely? Maybe you feel you're lonely, but are we lonely even when we are surrounded with the people? Let's go discover this today together. 21 days of my traveling, thanks to you, all of my dear supporters, truth seekers, and guys, without you, I will never be in position to do this vlogging. 21 days, it's a long day, it's a long time to do vlogging, and I did it. But the one lesson I learned, it is loneliness. So, welcome to the Life at the Battlefield podcast, where we discuss important topics that impact our lives. I'm your host, Mario Bekes, Guinness World Record holder. I spent 1,800 consecutive combat days in the war. I'm the bestseller book author, and I'm running 3 very successful businesses. And today, on my 21st day, I'm in the studio today. I want to conclude this traveling. 21 days, the one of the biggest lesson I want to share with you, and I don't want you to have a stigmata on you. When you feel lonely and you feel that you're not good enough because somebody's going to say to you, if you're lonely, you are a lunatic, don't deserve to be with us or with them. No, loneliness is a quite misunderstood topic. Very, very much misunderstood. I've been in a war, and I spent in a war maybe a couple days when I was really, really on my own, but then you go back into a unit and amongst your buddies, and I was very young and I was a different guy, but I was still lonely. Even when I was in the front line, I was lonely. With our fast-paced and hyper-connected world, it's surprising how many people feel lonely. We'll explore what loneliness is. It's a good and bad sides. And through my experience, I want you to really learn that being alone, we can be without feeling lonely. What is loneliness? Well, there's many definitions there on a market, but loneliness is more than just being alone. It's a feeling of being disconnected or isolated, even when surrounded by the people. There's statistics there. According to 2020 survey by Cigna, C-I-G-N-A, 61% of Americans report feeling lonely. Report they feel lonely, 61% of Americans. Loneliness affects people of all ages, with young adults aged 18 to 25 and seniors 65 plus being particularly vulnerable. Studies show that loneliness can increase the risk of premature death by 26%, according to research by Holt Lundstad in 2015. Additionally, loneliness is linked to high rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. As I said to guys, don't think you are not good enough because you're lonely. Don't chase other people just to be with somebody. Don't be stupid as I was in my life. I chased people because I was lonely by believing being amongst that group of people I'm gonna feel good. No, I wasn't. I've been used, abused, and spit out. Let's talk about the good side of being alone. Yeah, there's a good side. Being alone doesn't always mean feeling lonely. You agree? Solitude can be a powerful tool for personal growth and self-discovery. That's I said in my very first episode of this traveling, guys. I'm gonna put your link below. When you're traveling alone, you are discovering things you're never gonna discover if you travel with your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your midgets, unicorns, whatever it is. You're never going to discover this. And nobody will tell you this, because when you travel alone, you have a tendency to do things you've never done before. You're going to discover how self-worth you are. And thirdly, how capable you are to work in an environment you've never been before, because you have nobody to lean on. Now, when we spend time alone, we can focus on our interests and passions. We can boost your creativity and productivity. It's also an opportunity to practice mindfulness and reflect on our lives. Many people find that they achieve a deeper understanding of themselves, when they embrace solitude. Famous example, artists and writers like Virginia Woolf and Henry David Thoreau, who produced their best work in solitude. So, you can be creative, very much. On a good side, there's a flip side of the coin. It's a bad side of loneliness. It's, of course, what has good things has a bad things. However, chronic loneliness can be detrimental. It can lead by severe mental health issues such as anxiety and depression, and even physical health problems like a weakened immune system. That is being supported by research, but National Institute of Aging indicates that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. In the UK, a study found that 45% of adults feel occasionally, sometimes or often lonely. That being said, we have personal stories which reveal the profound impact loneliness can have, make it essential to address this issue openly. As I said, the stigma surrounding loneliness often prevents people from seeking help, which exaggerate the problem. When you put good things of being lonely and bad things being lonely, we need to learn something. And this is what I learned on my own. So 21 days I've been surrounded with the people, but I was alone. I was talking to the people here in Australia via video and other channels and other social media platforms, but I was still alone in my room. So it doesn't matter what I was doing, I was alone. So I need to do something else. I need to learn to be alone. You need to learn to be alone. I can't teach you how to be alone. But if you're believing that going out and actively seeking to be with somebody, well, my dear friend, I give you the lesson for free. You will fail. You will be in a situation when you're going to say, I better stayed alone. I don't want to now go into defining problems and issues, but sometimes when we are alone, people have a tendency to find the people who's going to suck your energy, who's going to spit you, who's going to chew you, is going to push you on the side, they're going to use you, abuse you. List goes on. I know, I've seen that and be in that position long time ago. Learn to be alone. Learning to be alone, it's a very, very valuable skill. It's about recognizing when we need to make solitude and making the most of it. Yes, that is correct. You need to learn to recognize when we need solitude and when we need to make most of it. I share with you something. I was in a relationship with somebody long time ago, and when I have a confrontation with that person, she will tell me, leave me alone, I need to be on my own. What I did was actually, I didn't want to leave, I just want to stay there. I was making even more situation even worse. It was more flammable, explosive, feel it, you just don't want to be there anymore. Sometimes people say, I want to be alone, and they need to be alone. Leave them alone because they're recognizing the need to be alone. When you learn to be alone, you need to learn how to develop some hobbies, and you need to practice mindfulness and setting aside me time. That's a great ways to embrace solitude. It's also important to balance social interactions with alone time, ensuring we are maintaining healthy relationships with nurturing our personal space. So you can, as I say, you can be in a relationship with somebody, someone says like, I want it to be alone, leave them to be alone because they know how to fill that time alone, me time with themselves without hurting you, discouraging you to be with them, to humiliate you, whatever it is. Leave them alone. I learned that lesson. It was a very painful lesson, but I learned, so I can share this today with you. When you have a me time and solitude, you need to schedule some social activities and personal time to maintain this balance. What is the conclusion of all of this? Well, today we explore this multifaceted nature of loneliness. Remember, it's okay to seek solitude, and it's equally important to reach out for help when feeling lonely. Help! Reflect on your relationship with the loneliness and consider how you can find a balance. I just want to say to you, thank you for joining me on this journey. If you need a support, there are resources available, including mental health and support groups across any country across this beautiful blue rock called Earth. So the fact it is that if you're feeling lonely, you need somebody, seek somebody to assist you. I traveled 21 days. I chose this deliberately and purposely. And the one thing I wasn't expecting, I couldn't put equation, I didn't calculate it was loneliness. So I learned to live with my loneliness, even being surrounded with hundreds of people in London, Paris, Berlin, Dubai. I learned it. But one thing I knew it, that I didn't lose my mind. I didn't feel any stigmata being alone. Instead of this, I sharpened my skills. I become more creative and I become more determined with my goals. Guys, I'm wishing you an awesome day. Whatever you do, wherever you are, I want to say thank you for supporting me. All of you risk takers and truth seekers who are supporting this podcast, Life the Battlefield. Let me know if you feel lonely, how you dealing with the loneliness, and do you feel stigmata from society if you are alone. Thank you for watching.